Hey everyone, welcome back. So today is Thursday. Obviously, a huge upset in the CPI data that came out today. It was a lot higher than expected. So we'll look at that. We'll look at Bitcoin. There's some Bitcoin news. Russia is going to probably make Bitcoin legal currency there. So we'll look at that. We also have some news on Ethereum, where Ethereum could be possibly going. There's a pretty bullish scenario for it. And we'll take a look, obviously, at CPI, the miners. So let's get into it. But as always, not financial advice, for entertainment only. Do your own research. Don't fall for scams. And spam posts get reported and deleted. Below is the companies that I'm invested in and coins as well. So let's get into the first one here, which is obviously the market here went down today. S&P 500 was down 1.8. The Dow Jones was down 1.4. And the NASDAQ was down 2.1% on the day. So everything started out kind of okay. The CPI data came out in the morning. The market kind of shrugged it off a little bit, and then we were doing just fine until one of the Fed board for the banks made a comment around noon, and then everything started pretty much tanking after that. So we'll get into that. But first, let's take a look at the miners here. See how they did. Argo was actually down today 3.67% on the day to 105. Bitfarms was down 2.73, even though a lot of the miners were up in the hours before the news obviously came out about the potential of higher interest rate hikes. So if we look at the 1 hour chart here on them, you'll see that how this kind of played out. We started out higher, and then we obviously fell during the midday, and you'll see this on most of these guys here. Cleanspark was up 11.63% on the day. It was up a lot higher than that. It was up almost 15-16% on the day to reach 1063. And then obviously the news came out and things started falling here. Core Scientific was down 0.76% to 1051. Digihost was down 3.49% to 415. DMG was down 2.46 to 54 cents. Hive was down 0.45 to $2.22. HUT was down 2.3% to 764. Iris Energy was actually up 3.22% to 1474. Obviously, they reported their earnings yesterday, so that could have been why it was up a little bit on the news from that. Marathon was down 0.59% to 2882. Mawson was down 8.8. And we're still waiting on Mawson to provide their January updates. They're always the laggards here with the group. They seem to take their sweet time and to provide the data, which it shouldn't take that long. You should be able to get it out within the first 5 days of the calendar month, new calendar month. And then we got Riot. Riot was down 1.93% to 1927. But as you can see on the charts, everybody was going up towards the noon hour, and then things started falling after the news came out. So we'll take a look at that as well. But first, we'll take a look at Bitcoin here, see how Bitcoin did. And then obviously here's the news. Fed Bullards calls for a big hike in interest rates. We'll get into that here. But first, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin obviously fell. What are we looking here? We're looking at the daily. If we look at the 1 hour chart, we can see that Bitcoin fell in the morning hours as the CPI data came out, and then it shrugged it off, went up, and then obviously Fed Bullard made his little comments, and the market has been going down ever since. So we got a nice little Mickey D sign here going on in the RSI chart and in the stock chart as well. So we'll see how this plays out. Right now, I'm thinking maybe we may have a little support here at the 43,000 mark. We'll see if it can hold it, and it looks like it is bouncing off of that right now. So we'll see how this plays out, whether it's going to fall below that possible support that we have here at 43,000. Let's take a look at Ethereum as well. Ethereum did the same thing, fell in the morning hours, and then came back up, shrugged it off, and then the news came out, and then started falling with everything else. So nice little Mickey D sign here as well. On the RSI, same thing. So we may be at support at 3,000 on Ethereum as well. It looks like it bounced off of that a little bit here. So we'll see how this plays out. It is now just like 6:30 or so in the afternoon. So things are falling, obviously. But you would think that being an inflation hedge, you would be, investing in Bitcoin, not selling it. So opposite point of view, I guess. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin total hash rate, see how that's doing. And on the 7-day average, it is still climbing, but slowed down a little bit here. If we look at the raw values, we can see that it is obviously bouncing in a ascending pattern here, so it's going up. So that will continue on. All right, so let's take a look at the first story here. We'll look at the Fed Bullard's comments here. So Fed's Bullard's calls for a big hike in interest rates to fight inflation. So today, St. Louis Federal Reserve President James Bullard said on Thursday that he has become dramatically more hawkish in light of the hottest inflation reading in nearly 40 years. So we obviously reached 7.5% on the CPI, and he now wants a full percentage point of interest rate hikes over the next 3 U.S. central bank policy meetings. So that would represent obviously having to have one of those meetings be at least a half a point, so 0.5% increase on that. Within minutes, Bullard's views became the market's views, and we saw that in the charts. Everything tanked, or started tanking actually, with rates futures contracts now fully pricing in an increase in the Fed's target range for its fully rate to 1% to 1.25% by the end of its policy meeting in June, with some bets on an even steeper rate hike. And then here's his comment. I'd like to see 100 basis points in the bag by July 1st, Bullard told Bloomberg News in an interview after U.S. government reports showed inflation rose 7.5% in the 12 months through January. Let's see if there was anything else here. And I think that was it. So that obviously contributed to it. We'll look at the data here now on the CPI that we have, the graph. And I'll kind of provide you with my kind of thinking. It could be flawed. This is just kind of thought process going in my head right now, looking at the chart and seeing how things are playing out. This is kind of how I'm thinking things may play out. This is my own 2 cents on this. So let's take a look at that here. So hopefully you guys can see the chart here. So obviously here in January of last year, we were down here at approximately, I don't know what this was, probably a 1.4, 1.5 not interest rate, but inflation of 1.5%, excuse me. And then we obviously started to increase on it to where in February we were maybe at 1.7. So let's make it 1.7 here for February. March, we reached up to maybe 2.6. So I'll make that 2.6. April, we were at 4.2, I would say, something like that, 4.2. May, we were at 5. And then in June, we were at maybe 5.5 roughly. July, we were about the same, so 5.5. I know this isn't the greatest writing here. August is also about 5.3. Let me see if I can work with this a little bit better in my hand. So let's say this was 5.3, and then September we were at 5.4. October, roughly 6.2. November, we were at 6.8. And then December, we're obviously at 7. I think it was 7 something. So as you can see, this increase in the CPI has been going up over the past year. We obviously reached 7.5 on January. So I'm thinking that I'm hoping that we actually level off. This is my own thought. So even if we go maybe to even 8, but let's just say that we level off at 7.5. This is kind of the way I view things. Perhaps things may play out, but if we go out this way and then work our way backwards. So in February, we don't know February, we know January was 7.5. So here's from the year ago, we were at here at this level. And I'm thinking that maybe, perhaps, just maybe, I'm just guessing here, that we could be at approximately, maybe, what is that, 1.7. We were up last year already. And then this year we're 7.5. So let's just call it, we might be here in around 6 for February. March, we could be at, that would be right around 4, maybe, based on, the numbers here that we're going down at. 4.2 was in April of last year, so maybe we'll be at 3.2 this year. And so you can see this kind of going down this way as we get, obviously, going into the year from last year. I hope this makes sense. I know it's kind of convoluted a little bit. But basically what I'm thinking is we may have reached max pain in our inflation rate. But we'll have to see, obviously, what February comes out at. If it's higher than 6, I would think that we would start going down this way, kind of in the same way that we were going up this way, but the opposite way, going back down if, in fact, we reached our max pain here. If we get above 7.5 to 8, well, then all bets are off, obviously. But I'm thinking that with everything being a year out, I'm hoping that things are already priced in. Obviously, everything from transportation, electricity, gasoline, I'm hoping that things don't go up too much higher. I'm thinking things are going to start leveling off here. We've had obviously a lot of money injected into the economy as well. I'm hoping that that's all going to stabilize and possibly basically stay a little bit flat, maybe a little slight increase, but still over the year prior. So year over year, I'm hoping to see decreases in inflation as we go into the year, as we've seen obviously huge increases towards the end of the year last year. So that's kind of my thought on that. It could be completely off. I just don't know, but that's kind of what I'm thinking here. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on this. Love to hear what you guys think. Are we going to have, huge inflation going forward? Or is this going to be like one of those things where it's, once you plateau at a certain point, you then start stabilizing, and then looking back a year, you're going to see those rates come down a little bit, I think. So my kind of theory on that. So let's get back into the news here. So let me know what you guys think of that. And then obviously we have Russia. So Russia is set to recognize Bitcoin as currency. So according to a local news report, the controversy around the status of cryptocurrency in Russia is about to come to an end. The Russian newspaper, I'm not even going to try pronouncing that, reported that the Bank of Russia and the government have now reached an agreement on crypto regulations. Following this agreement, authorities in Russia are drafting a law that will define crypto as an analog of currencies instead of a digital financial assets. Going further, the report stated that with such classification, the use of crypto will be limited to the legal sector. This means, I don't know what they mean legal sector. I would think that exchanges would be legal. This means that the crypto would be integrated into the financial systems, and users would only have access through the banking system and licensed intermediaries. So intermediaries would be obviously exchanges and things like that. But a banking system obviously is a big one where they want to have more control over it. Obviously, Russia is, Putin's playland basically. So with this report, it appears that the central bank has finally compromised on its stance against crypto. In its proposed regulatory framework, the Ministry of Finance has also advised an integration of crypto into the banking system. So this obviously could be a good thing for Bitcoin adoption. It's going to continue to increase. Demand is going to go up, while supply is also going to continue to go down. We got the halving event coming up in 2 years. So we're going to get a cut in supply anyways. From 6.25, we're going to be down to 3 something. So the draft of the new crypto law incorporates this as well. And then a recent poll by the Russian Public Opinion Research Center revealed that 64% of Russians have heard about Bitcoin. So here's that adoption part of it. And only 90% know nothing about the cryptocurrency. The move to regulate crypto also seems to have the blessing of Russian President Vladimir Putin. He had recently called on the bank and government authorities to compromise. As part of the proposed laws, any transaction exceeding 600,000 rubles, around $8,000, must be declared. Non-declaration would constitute criminal offense. The law also intends to criminalize those who illegally accept crypto as a means of payment. Don't know how they're going to track people with hardware wallets and sending coins between each other. So that's going to have to be obviously worked out, or that's still going to be in the gray area. It's going to be illegal basically to do it in Russia. So we'll find out what that actually means. Hopefully we'll get some more verbiage on it from once the rules come out and the legislation comes out on that. And then finally, our last story here is on Ethereum. So analysts predict parabolic Ethereum price rally as institutional capital flows in. And we have it here. There was some talk about Vitalik and choice of block times and block sizes. Don't really need to know about that. But analyst Benjamin Cohen evaluated the Ethereum price trend and predicted an explosive rally in the altcoin. News of the next hard fork, reduced transaction fees, and higher institutional investment in Ethereum has fueled investor bullish outlook. The analyst notes that Ethereum price broke past long sideways trading and is ready to target 7,000 to 8,000, Cohen said. So that would be a nice increase, obviously about 2x here, 2.5x roughly. If we do come out of this downtrend, let's say by the summer, and we come back up to the prior all-time highs, and then Ethereum breaks out and we start trending higher, maybe we get up to 7,000 to 8,000 level, and then we have to go sideways there for half a year. So pretty bullish outlook. And obviously recovering from the bloodbath over the past week, Ethereum price has crossed 3,000, and we're battling 3,000 right now, and posted 10% gains over the past week. This was King Theus, a cryptocurrency analyst and trader, believes that Ethereum price could hit 3,600 and the trajectory of the current uptrend continues. You can see it there. And then obviously FX Street analysts have predicted that Ethereum price could liquidate bulls if it falls below 3,000, and we are battling with that right now. If we look at the chart here, let's see where we are on it. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely battling with 3,000. We're a little bit above it right now at 3,025. Let's take a quick look at Bitcoin as well. Bitcoin is battling. I mean, it's just a little bit below 43,000 right now, so we'll see if we can maintain that. We did have a couple of wicks here below it, but we did manage to go above it, continuing on. So we'll see how it goes. Obviously, the RSI is pretty low. It's not in the oversold territory yet. We are at 34 or so. Volume obviously is good. We've had huge volume obviously today. So we'll see how this plays out. You know, things are very fluid in the market. But right now we're looking okay. I don't think there's anything to concern yet. Hopefully people are able to digest what's going on with the CPI, and along with the recent news on the Fed reporting that they want to go full 100-point basis up by July. And so we'll see how things play out. So as always, let me know what you guys thought about my little CPI analysis that we might be actually starting to trend down, I think, possibly. If, obviously, February numbers come back lower than the 7.5 that we've had here, I think we may be hitting the top of the inflation point here. So let me know what you guys thought of that. Let me know what you thought of also on the Russian possibly making Bitcoin legal tender, basically, and Ethereum's price prediction of maybe 7,000-8,000 by the end of the year. So that's it. That's all I got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I hope you found this actually as well useful. And the only thing I ask for is you guys to hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. So that's it. Hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then,